me the power, for I could swim Loch Lomond and be home in half an hour. Maybe the air gave me the drive, for I'm all aglow and alive. What a day this has been, what a rare mood I'm in. Why, it's almost like being in love. There's a smile on my face for the whole human race. Why, it's almost like being in love. All the music of life seems to be like a bell that is ringing for me. And from the way that I feel when that bell starts to peal, I would swear I was falling. I could swear I was falling. It's almost like being in love.
Good afternoon. How the devil are you? I've had an interesting day today. Let me just tell you. There's a town near me called Frome. It's very lovely. It's in Somerset, and it's where I was born. Not Frome, Somerset, and it's lovely. And I'm in a car park, and there's a man with a puppet and music on his back, and he's just playing. And oh my God, go to my Twitter if you want to see it. It is joyful, joyful, joyful. I just want to speak today very quickly about an incident that just happened to me when I was in that car park. And let me just say, really sorry to my personal assistant, because I forgot to put the phone down before I actually went in the toilets. But fortunately, it was in a really thick coat and it was muffled. So the mystery is still there. But I'm waiting outside these toilets, and it's one of those sort of council car parks, and the toilet is male toilets, or men's, actually it's called men's toilet, unisex, women's, ladies toilet is what it's called. And then there's a toilet for people with disabilities. Now, I did see that toilet with people with disabilities the last time I was in that car park. 3 men went in. They looked like junkies. I'm not going to lie. They all went in together. One of them had one of those keys. So I have always, when there is an option for just a women's toilet, that's the toilet I will go in, because I don't know, it's not very often that women pee all over the seat and all over the floor. And they're these sort of toilets that don't have a toilet seat. They look like the sort of toilets that someone can hose down at the end of the day. So anyway, so I'm waiting, and a few other people join the queue, and I'm like, no, I'm just waiting for that specific toilet. I don't want to go to that other toilet. And I'm waiting quite a long time. And who do you reckon walks out? Who do you reckon walks out from that toilet? Just a regular bloke. Just a regular man. Just a regular man. And so I just say, that's the ladies' toilet. And he said, oh, yeah, the others were busy. I was like, I don't care. You had a choice of four toilets you could have gone to. 4 toilets. And you chose to go in the women's. Like, I don't want to go into a toilet that a man has used. I don't want to go into that toilet. This is by Cheese and Grain, by the way, for that lady who said she's near Froome. I was like, I don't want to go to that toilet. That's not for you. 4 toilets. And he said, well, you know, there was a queue. And I said, yeah, mate, I don't care. It's like, don't use that toilet again. It's not for you. And then I said, are you a traffic warden? And he said, no, I'm a market trader. I said, oh, right, well, next time, don't use a women's toilet, right? And then an older bloke behind me said, well said, as I'm going in the toilets. And I'm like, well, thanks very much. And when I come out, him and another woman, they're all like, thanks for saying that. Thank you. It's about time. And then the older man says, I don't want to use toilets that women use. I don't feel comfortable in using those toilets. And often we are mocked. Like, oh, it's not about toilets. I mean, it is about so much more than toilets, but toilets really are the most likely space that as women, when we're out and about, that we're likely to remove our clothes. I mean, it's not often that I might be bare-arsed in the middle of a town or in a changing room. You know, you don't try when you try on underwear or whatever, unless you're in a swimming pool changing room. The toilet is the most likely place that you are in a position of vulnerability and the state of the least dress. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you can see these. These will be in store soon. That says mother. That says woman. These adjustable chains. I'm so proud of myself. But they'll be available in both the US and the UK store. Um, so so I just want to return to this issue that when somebody tries to diminish how you feel about that, I mean, besides the fact that you can talk about Korea and you can talk about the fact that in Korea you can't go into any of those public spaces without looking for hidden cameras, and that voyeurism is a massive genre of porn. I spied on girls in changing rooms, upskirting, all of these things. They are all genuinely a problem. And I heard Caitlyn Jenner, sorry, Bruce, buckle up, buckaroo. I heard Bruce the other day talk about, I went in, I just do my business and I leave, and sometimes women take selfies. Well, sorry, Bruce, but that's what you're expected to do. Like that's what you do in a toilet. That oh, well done. Oh, what do you mean he didn't have a wank? Oh my god, he is a hero. He is definitely a woman because he doesn't masturbate and put little bits of semen all over toilet roll and the walls and the seat, hoping that we'll sit on it. Oh my god, Yeah, wow. Oh, he didn't actually shit on the floor. Oh my wow, he is such a hero. Um, and I heard him talk about that. I just go in and just do what, like, we don't want you in. We just don't want you there. We don't want a man in there. I don't want to hear a man's voice in a toilet. And I'll very quickly tell you this story. When I was we came back from somewhere, I mean somewhere lovely. And because we're a classy family, we went into McDonald's to have a breakfast on the way home. And I was in the toilet and somebody came in and it was a man not speaking English. And I have no idea what he was saying. I don't know whether he mistakenly went in the women's toilets or whatever, but he went in the cubicle next to me. And I just did this until he had gone. Right? Until he had gone. Because like completely involuntary, I didn't rationalize my intuition and say, do you know what, it's fine. It's probably fine. I just like you go into this mode where you're thinking, maybe you are thinking a little bit like, what would I do? How quickly can I get dressed? Where's the door? Like maybe you have some of those calculations, but often you just do this and you just can't get past it. You just genuinely just can't get past it until those footsteps are gone. Now, also in that same incident, when I went back into the toilets before we left, so say I don't know, 30 minutes later, the toilet cubicle he happened to have been in looked like somebody had stood on the toilet seat and pissed all over the toilet seat and the floor and everywhere. Like um it looked like an attack. It looked like a protest. That's what it looked like. It was just gross. So anyway, that's just I just want men to realize, like when I went to the theater, this is another incident. I went to the theater. The theater clearly used to have male and female toilets. They decided to make both of them unisex. And actually what happened is most decent men, they and there was a huge queue, so I'm assuming they got rid of the urinal. I don't know this, but you had a huge queue of men and a huge queue of women. And I got to the front of the queue with the women's queue because everyone had just decided to separate because most of the people were like my age. And men had decided to separate and women decided to separate. And when I got to the front of the queue, there were two men. Like I'm talking regular, ordinary men who'd gone to the shortest queue, which was the women's queue, which is unusual. But it's and when I got in there, this is what it was. It was 3 toilets, but because they used to be women's toilets, they weren't fully enclosed cubicles. You could have seen over the top if you were tall enough or stood on the toilet. And I was just thinking, this unisex toilet, how would it be? How would it be if it was just me in here and the 3 cubicles were occupied by men, and the 3 people queuing were men. How would I feel? Because that's a possibility, right? A unisex toilet, there's a possibility that you are the only woman in that space. And I don't know any single woman that would enjoy that. I don't know too many men that would enjoy that. These men must have been pricks to actually go and stand in there and looking all around. They must have seen all women and then just thought, oh, I'm going to do it. And then I said, isn't this the women's? And someone said, no, this is unisex. And I think in that instance, I think they'd already gone in the toilet. It was a little bit too late, and I probably just didn't say anything that time. It's very unusual for me not to say anything. I usually do say something, but not that time. Anyway, I just wanted to relay those things to you because I think that these boundaries, this is not like I keep saying lately, and I think it really encapsulates the argument. Trans isn't an identity, it's a behavior. So when someone says I'm trans, they're telling you about the way they behave, specifically men. When they tell you they're trans, they say that they totally disregard your boundaries. They probably watch too much porn. They definitely have a fetish. That's what they're telling you. It's nothing to do with identity. It's everything to do with their behavior. And I think that we have to acknowledge that those 2 men in a women-only space probably aren't as sexually deviant, but they are as willing to break our boundaries and erase our boundaries and make us feel uncomfortable, come what may, as any other man, whether he wears a skirt or not. Anyway, do keep that I'm not gonna lie, we need your money, and we're not gonna we make it really, really easy. In exchange for money, we send you these wonderful, beautiful, wonderful Christmas gift things. They come in a lovely little box as well. And then these new ones come in this black and white box. So, if you can keep speaking the truth, even though sometimes it's a little bit embarrassing, then I promise we will win. If you can work together and just keep your eyes on the prize, then I promise we will win. Do you know why else we're going to win? Because I never lose.
What a day this has